Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kids Show, and today we have to talk about Kotaku because they always have to involve their really dumb take in pretty much everything. And the topic of discussion which they're taking on is, well, Assassin's Creed, the more recent, I guess, non-apology apology, you could say, from the Assassin's Creed team to Japan, in which they essentially said, yeah, we're sorry that we effed up all these things, but we're still going to do what we want to do anyway. So, yeah, Kotaku has their take, and it is one of the most hateful disdain for the gaming community, as per usual from these types, man. They absolutely hate the audience that they cater to or placate to, I guess. But to jump right into it, we got this was never about anything other than hate. And this, funny enough, is written by Alyssa Mercante. Well, what do you know? What a surprise. One of the most hateful people writing about hate. It's almost like she wrote about herself in this article, but she's basically saying movements for ethics in journalism or against forced DEI in video games are veils over bigotry. Right. Okay, whatever. But anyway, and she includes, funny enough, she includes Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, Concord. Basically, a bunch of mediocre as fuck looking upcoming video games. Video games that look so extremely mid off rip. But he said on July 23rd, in response to the ongoing backlash against a black lead character in the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows, developer Ubisoft released a lengthy statement. The responses on X, formerly Twitter, were exactly what you'd expect: racist images, slurs, and calls for historical accuracy in a video game series that has always been steeped in science fiction. How does this even compare to quote unquote racist images, slurs? That is wild. I mean, the reality is, when it comes to Assassin's Creed, this upcoming one is featuring a actual historical figure. And this is the main issue at hand. This is the first time they've ever done something like this, and it's not going well. Big fucking surprise. If you saw my last video in regards to Assassin's Creed Shadows, you would know exactly what I said in regards to how this entire situation could have been avoided entirely. But hey, man, people don't do common sense shit anymore. It's all about virtue signaling or anything for attention, whatever have you. That's really the obsession here. And an unpublished community note, a feature frequently used by users to quote unquote add context to posts, reads Assassin's Creed N-word Squire? Wild. I wish you would include a picture of that. But clearly just anything to go at the community, even though, mind you, she's discussing the response to the Japanese community specifically. So, very, very strange behavior, man. He said a fledgling, but furiously loud group of gamers will tell you that the Assassin's Creed Shadows backlash is about respecting Japanese culture or refusing to accept woke ideologies that are being forced into their games by consultation groups who hold no real power. But just like in 2014, during the first full-throated iteration of Gamergate, this was never about anything other than hate. Oh my god, coming from the most hateful person, holy shit. The internet is a powerful place, an in-between world in which imagery and rhetoric can be weaponized to such an extent it bleeds into real life. All I'm getting is projection right now. That's from wires to the weeds, as the 2022 book Memoir says. In 2014, a misogynistic movement demands ethics in games journalism, because clearly lacking, and honestly still, 10 years later, still the same bullshit. Broke gaming containment with such ferocity that politicians took note. We're talking about Steve Bannon. Wow. The former chief political strategist for President Donald Trump told author Joshua Green that he realized you could connect with these kids right away. You can activate that army. They come in through Gamergate or whatever. and they get turned onto politics syndrome. And the irony is, she's a part of the group that has pushed politics into gaming. And once again, she's doing so with this article. I mean, we literally the whole goal from the very beginning was to keep politics out of gaming, but clearly we lost that war. There's like nothing that we could do to go back. So now everyone's forced to get involved in the whole political aspect of the gaming space when we're talking about video games. Yes, it's sad to say we're talking about fucking Mario. Now we have to talk about politics. It's so wild. Even to talk about all these social political aspects of nonsense. We've clearly lost the battle when in trying to keep politics out of gaming, keep gaming apolitical, so that we can actually talk about actual video games. But it is what it is. That's over. But the irony is, she's part of the group that forced politics into gaming, and then she's upset that, oh my god, there's people that oppose us politically that are also in the gaming space that happen to fucking literally be the other side of the aisle. Oh my god, it's like the end of the world, and you brought this upon yourself. You could have totally had like opposed politics in gaming, had fought to keep gaming apolitical, but that's not what you guys wanted, and now you're upset that people who you think oppose your politics are also involved. That's basically how society works. We're not drones that all follow each other. This isn't a communist situation, okay? People can choose what side of the aisle to be on. And the thing is, this isn't even like we're talking about fucking Donald Trump and Steve Bannon right now when talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is how pathetic. This is how absolutely pathetic Alyssa Mercante is. Harnessing that power forever changed the landscape of mainstream politics. Oh my god. She's talking about January 6th. She's talking about January 6th. Are we really going to... Wow. Trump and his ilk. Here we go. There's always something to be about arms about. And do whatever it takes to get him reelected. Oh my god, dude. I'm not gonna sit here and read this. Reactionary right-wing movement, gaming. Okay, continue. There are countless studies and stories proving the radicalization of male youth. Oh my god. This bitch is mentally ill. Like, yo, this woman is so ill. You could tell that her feelings are so hurt from people that have made videos on her. And I mean, she put herself into that situation, and I think she's literally very, very bitter about the whole situation she chose to put herself in. And now she chooses to essentially spread her hateful rhetoric, choose to lash out at the gaming community every single chance she possibly gets. They said it's a special brand of hatred, sort of backwards logic, boomerang, careening. Literally, this is all because Ubisoft came out and apologized to their Japanese community of gamers for their misrepresentation of Japanese culture. She's pretty much using that to talk about American politics. This is the level of mentally deranged disconnect this woman has. But she said it's a special brand of hatred, sort of backwards logic, boomerang, careening through the air. Is way back from progress. Since its inception, gaming as a culture space was largely dominated by white boys and men. You had to have a certain amount of wealth and free time to even take part in it, and those were not readily available by marginalized groups in the 80s and the 90s. Oh my god. This bitch comes off as so fucking racist. Like, you know how many of non-white men that I know that have been gaming since the really late 80s and early 90s? I know so fucking many. Like, a lot of my best friends happen to be not white men, and they've gamed for before I was even alive. She goes on, marketing and the designs of games aimed at boys increasingly fueled widespread perception of this hobby was exclusively for them. To to the point where many girls with an interest in it were met with parental resistance and cultural shunning. I myself only forged ahead in gaming after my parents refused to keep feeding into the boy hobby because I could afford to buy an Xbox 360 with my summer job money, and my story is not unique. Oh my god, you can tell she hates her parents. Holy shit. Oh man, it's hilarious. You think that this is some sort of breakaway. Like me, I just got into video games because, well, I liked the hobby. My parents didn't really want me to play video games specifically because it's something that they didn't really understand at the time, to any real depthful extent besides having played Pac-Man a few times. Um, they definitely didn't want me to have that hobby because I guess they didn't understand it. It would take away from time, and it was to that point where it was addictive. And I saw my cousins playing video games. I saw friends at school playing video games. I just wanted to get into it, and eventually they easily caved when I was like 5 or 6 years old. But yeah, just because you had parents that didn't want you to really pursue that because of your gender or whatever, I mean, yeah, man, I guess they should have got you some therapy early in your life. I'm just saying. Because maybe you would have avoided becoming this deranged lunatic. They said eventually a substantial number of women, queer folks, and minorities got jobs into video. Basically, motherfuckers who weren't white men to her were all broke. Apparently, that's what they were all fucking broke. Couldn't play video games because of that. Oh my god, dude. Don't you think that maybe, just maybe, it took time for the hobby to interest them, or the right person to introduce them to gaming? Just maybe. Jeez, it's so wild. Minorities got jobs in the video game industry as developers, social media managers, community organizers, journalists, and more. The rise of indie games opened up the door for more unique approaches to game development, more diverse schools of thought, more genre-binding titles. Oh my god. Largely thanks to Me Too and Black Lives Matter movements, bad actors, and we've proven, like, over time has proven that there are so many bad actors in both of these movements. even even people who were once for this stuff now denounce it. A lot of them, or a lot of people now just shut the fuck up when it comes to BLM and Me Too, because while they know in their heart, hey man, the people that were behind this shit, they were in it for their own gain, and they were in most, I'm sure a lot of people feel used, but they don't want to admit to it. But yeah. Bad actors were held accountable by perpetuating. Bro, I cannot believe we're talking about BLM, Me Too, the upcoming election, Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, all because Ubisoft put out an apology to Japan for their stupid shit in their upcoming Assassin's Creed game. This is where we're going. This is how deranged this fucking lunatic is. Behaviors against marginalized folks in gaming. It was a fight to get even a somewhat level playing field. Oh my god, here we fucking go. Here we fucking go. That's when reactionaries come in. A rumor first spun for dark corners of the internet, gained traction, jumps the mainstream of all attempts to debug it. Met the accusation, conspiracy gains more traction. Elon Musk posts about it. The men who were first ringing a reactionary bell see dollar signs thanks to monetization of virtual perpetual. Now she's essentially talking about the shit that pissed her off when it was directed towards her for getting involved in the Sweet Baby Inc. Situation and lying through her fucking teeth about it, mind you. More eyeballs equals more money. You can't get eyeballs if you're not stroking the flames of hatred, which is something that she very often engages in, as often as she possibly can. People need to stay angry, stay scared, stay uncertain in their future, and that they can continue to look for you for answers, except you won't provide any. Your goal is to ensure the rage continues. Solving those problems means robbing the fire of gasoline. Projection. Literally, this is what she's doing with this article right now. selling fear, selling hatred, and all of it is because of her own emotional attachment to the gaming community. So this, bro, we're now finally talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is, bro. We're now talking about it. All this time it took just to get here. This bitch is so fucking stupid. Like, she really deserves to be laughed at, mocked, and shamed. You know what? I used to be like, oh, you know, people concentrate too much time on all these videos and whatever. Like, honestly, she deserves it. She's such a fucking clown. She genuinely deserves to be laughed out of the room and to be made fun of. And you know what? If all these videos made her this upset, then so be it, man. You deserve to be clowned. Absolutely ridiculous behavior. All this time just to actually talk about Assassin's Creed. We've essentially went through all of American fucking politics in this deranged lunatic fucking warped mindset, just to finally get to the actual topic. Before that, it was a content warning added to a Capcom game. Before that, it was a perceived failure of Flintlock, which, I mean, yeah, the lack of interest here. Before that, it was the female lead for Star Wars game not being hot enough. I mean, she's also a knockoff of Han Solo, but hey, man. Oh, man. Before that, it was the black lead in the Star Wars show merely existing. You mean doing really stupid shit, right? Before that, it was the way characters in Concord look because they look absolutely fucking retarded. Before that, it was the trans voice actor in Final Fantasy expansion. I've heard their voice acting and it is genuinely horrible. Like, the American version of the voice actors for that particular character, I don't even know what the character is, but I've heard like a comparison between all the different voice actors. Yeah, the one that the Americans have to listen to is by far the worst one, easily. Before that, it was Tiana Bayou's adventure at Disney World. I don't even know what the hell it is. Before that, it was Lara Croft's jawline. I mean, it's a lot of bitches' jawlines, man. Before that, it was Dungeons and Dragons Orcs going woke. I mean, weren't y'all saying that orcs are somehow racist? And people like Alyssa Mercante, her side of the aisle, believe that orcs are somehow a direct representation of black people? Like, insane ass fucking thought process. Absolutely insane. And they happen to change some things with Dungeons and Dragons, particularly because for some reason they related orcs to a particular group of real life people. Absolutely insane. Before that, it was gameplay strategies in Elden Ring. Huh? You mean bitch made strategies in Elden Ring? That just pertains to people who are bitch made. Anyway, before that, it was romance options in Dragon Age, the Veilguard. Wait. Dragon Age just recently got announced. How is this before all of that? This bitch got all her timeline is warped. Before that, it was Jean Grey not coming Wolverine. But how is this before all of this? Yo, I'm convinced this bitch is on meth or something. She has to be on meth. Yo, she's constantly taking it too because meth, you need that constant high. And I mean, you know, we don't know what the official look of Jean Grey is gonna be in the Wolverine game, but if Mary Jane is anything to judge. Bye. Before that was Trans Flag Cosmetic in Call of Duty. You mean the trans bullets? Before that, it was DEI wording in a Nintendo job posting. Before that, bro, she is so mad. You can tell that she just hate writes all this stuff. Before that, it was a woman journalist reporting on the workplace environment at a studio behind Black Myth Wukong. Before that, it was removing the butt from the boys firecracker in Warzone. Bro, is this really a thing? Before that, it was politics in Helldivers 2. Wasn't that what y'all were crying about? Y'all were crying about apparently people were fascists for fucking with Helldivers 2? Wasn't that one of your things before? Before that was race swapping comic book characters. And, you know, instead of actually, you know, pushing comic book characters that were always a particular race. You know? You could have did that instead of race swapping other characters because, you know, unfortunately, comic book companies don't have value. They don't actually show value in their own black characters. That is what it is, sadly. Let me see where we at here with all this bitching and whining. Before that's a Jawline and Perfect Dark remake. Before that, it was female custodies in Warhammer. All this manufactured rage. I mean, the reality is you guys keep changing shit. The people that run these companies happen to be a part of whatever group they are. Usually far leftist retards that think everything is racist. It harpens back to Anita Sarkeesian. Everything's racist, everything's sexist, everything's homophobic. You guys are starting the issue, and when you guys fuck shit up because you start an issue, people like basically say, hey, you're being stupid. Apparently, the people that are reacting to y'all starting an issue is the problem. Because at the end of the day, you just don't want any pushback for the dumb shit y'all choose to do. That's really what it is. All this manufactured rage has been rammed down the throats of impersonable young people in just the last 45 days alone. Okay, I'm pretty sure it doesn't all... I'm pretty sure the whole Custodes thing is literally like over 2 months ago. This bitch just stay lying. She can't even get her timeline right. Like, bro, like, stop doing drugs while writing this stuff. There'll never be a shortage of hate for them to spread. I mean, all you do is spread hate too. Like every time this bitch writes an article, it's always to start like a conversation of hatred. That's specifically what she does. Um, Only way forward is a full-throated denouncing of bad actors in the video game space from the biggest names in the business, largest companies in the industry, not a bizarre, uh, ham-handed statement that will lend credence to their baseless bullshit. Even though, I mean, all this stuff you guys have committed and people are calling you out for it. Oh man, this is wild. That implies that their arguments are rooted in logic when hate itself is illogical. So I guess you should just delete this article because it's literally just an entire it's entirely written in hate. Oh man, she just disqualified herself. She said hate itself is illogical. Then that means it's time to delete everything you've written on this website. As Jackson wrote, racism is an illogical position, so you cannot defeat it with logic. Facts just don't matter to a racist, especially not the tedious kind. This pretty much falls to anybody that spews bullshit. It's not just racism. It's literally just anybody that fucking runs their mouth. I don't know if it be hatred or if it just be whatever have you. It like this quote literally falls for the very things that that Alyssa Mercante actually engages in. This kind of racist who makes their home in video game culture. There will always be a new hair to split. Oh man, Alyssa Mercante, man. I haven't had to cover pretty much anything she's talked about because really she just spews nonsense. But Kotaku published this bullshit article, and really it just goes to show that Kotaku's a dead website. And really, at the end of the day, all they can do in order to generate clicks is literally spew hate. That's why Alyssa Mercante still has a job here. I think at this point, she wants essentially all the game industry to denounce us, regular gamers that are tired of having to deal with bullshit. We're basically browbeaten for not being interested in video games that are trash. Clearly, we don't have to actually play them to know that they're shit. But we're tired of the pandering. We're tired of being talked down to. You're trying to sell products to us, so one way or another, you're going to have to respect us. It is what it is. You keep trying to sell video games to like 1% of the gaming community, like with Concord, and then you're just surprised when wow, nobody wants the game. Nobody wants Concord. What a shock. And it's like, yeah, the game caters to basically anybody but the average gamer. It placates to the woke ideological bullshit that you guys keep trying to push into gaming. It keeps getting rejected, and you guys just get more upset about it. Like Alyssa Mercante is upset about it. Alyssa Mercante is upset about a lot of things, but I think it's important to essentially, really, at the end of the day, what needs to be done is for the gaming industry to denounce her. Because she is literally one of the biggest pushers of hatred. And if you listen to Alyssa Mercante as a company, your company will die. This bitch doesn't know how to sell anything to anyone. She just knows how to generate hate for clicks on Kotaku. That's what she does. She is not a businesswoman by any means. If you listen to her, if you're a video game company and you listen to this woman, your company will die. At some point, you're going to have to come to the reality that you better break bread with the gaming community and actually try to make video games for more than just, I guess, women or LGBT, whatever. Like, at some point, you're going to have to start making video games that are for men specifically. And if you don't, I mean, continue to fail. You better get used to putting all your games on Game Pass and hoping for the better, because that's really all your games are going to end up being. Either free to plays that have no engagement at all, end up on Game Pass, or end up like Concord. But yeah, I definitely encourage these companies to denounce people like Alyssa Mercante. People like her are leading you down a terrible path. Journalists have no idea how to sell anything. They're not successful at all by any means. Bitch probably has like 10 roommates. Yeah. I mean, whatever, man. This whole thing is laughable at best. I'm actually regret having covered this article, but it is what it is. It's interesting in the sense of seeing how deranged leftists choose to incorporate everything politically into the gaming space, and then they get upset when people oppose their nonsense. It is what it is, though, guys. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitter or Twitch if you want to continue the conversation. Tonight, we got the Twilight Zone of Gaming, baby, my Thursday night live stream, so definitely tune in for that. It's going to be an awesome time. It's my birthday weekend, so if you can pull up and hang out with me, I would really love for that. And yeah, guys, with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.